it going, everyone? Dr. Frankie here, and happy to be here again for another week of Dr. Frankie advice, Dr. Frankie's talks. Over the years, it's changed so much, but really, I cover everything about or around how to have healthy, successful relationships, and whether it's how to communicate effectively, how to argue in a productive way, how to reignite your sex life, how to explore, how to ask for what you need and want. So we talk about sex, dating, romance, relationships, all that good interpersonal stuff that's really hard. And even me, like after all these years of therapy and being a therapist for over 2 decades, I still have challenges. When it comes to interpersonal relationships at times, whether it be my own romantic relationship or family or friends. So, relationships are tough to traverse, and we all come with a history. And that often is at play beneath it all. So, it's important to be willing to look at our stuff and to seek help outside of ourselves, outside of our friendship unit, because those people, right, are we need our peeps, but they're going to often really just want to make us feel better and feel good and protect us. So sometimes that's not exactly what we need. We do need that, but that's not all of what we need, I should say. So, yeah. So here today, I'm going to be talking about another topic, which is, do you need to be healed before you find love? And this is a question that comes up often in my practice. And I thought today would be a good day to just jump in on this topic. And real quick, thanks for those who have subscribed in the last week and those who continue to support my work. I so appreciate you and your commitment. And I show up every day because I know that I'm, providing information that's helpful for y'all. So thank you. And for those that are new to me, please subscribe to my channel. And if you think that there's something that you're hearing or you're reading that's really insightful, helpful, and know somebody who might benefit from it, please share it. And thanks again. So today's topic, do you need to be healed before you find love? Social media has been rife with updates from people working to enter their healed girl era, so they call it, or committing to only dating healed people going forward. That's interesting because healing is a process, right? And it doesn't happen in a finite period of time. It's an ongoing evolution. But, TikTok and Instagram knows it best, right? I'm being totally facetious, sarcastic. Even if you're not part of the micro generation these trends originate with, it may sound familiar, like the familiar, if you don't love yourself, you can't love someone else. This sentiment resonates powerfully with a common desire to fix ourselves, as if entering some kind of emotional, psychological boot camp that will mean we're ready for the relationship we're really wanting. But is this realistic or even desirable? What does it mean to be healed exactly? If you've struggled with anything that tends to make people feel like there's something wrong with them that needs to be fixed, mental illness, trauma, lasting impacts of purity culture, baggage from previous toxic relationships, you may have found it's easy to fall into black and white thinking about how damaged you are relative to basically everyone else. Other people have an easy time in relationships with themselves and others, we assume. They cruise through life's difficulties with equanimity and bounce back from setbacks with resilience and such ease. Really? But do they? Their family relationships are basically fulfilling and marked only by minor friction. Their lives thus far have been more or less kind, and to the degree that they haven't, they've transcended those experiences with grace and are no longer impacted by them in any meaningful way. We imagine ourselves, on the other hand, to be uniquely flawed and struggling. Our challenges feel shameful and indicative of fundamental shortcomings as people. It's hard to imagine that anyone could be accepting or even nonplussed by our issues, needs, or baggage. If we're disabled or chronically ill, we may imagine that we need to be healthy or healthier before we qualify for a relationship, a state that's out of reach for many people. Of course, things aren't that black and white, right? Like, that doesn't sound right. There aren't two distinct groups of people who are either a mess or totally fine. Pretty much all of us are both at any given time. The magically well person we imagine as our counterpart doesn't actually exist. There's virtually no one who hasn't been shaped in a major way by difficulty, pain, illness, or trauma. In fact, we've all had traumas to varying degrees. And while there are many ways to move through difficult experiences to recover and grow from them, they've never really gone. We're always shaped by what we've lived through. There isn't a final, singular end stage where any of us are actually fixed and perfectly positioned for life, especially since life keeps happening to us in the meantime. Trying to wait till you've reached the point of finally being healed to really pursue connection may mean you're waiting for the rest of your life. We're harmed in connection and heal in connection. I want you to really hear that. We're harmed in connection and heal in connection. Especially when we feel hurt or damaged by an intimate relationship of some kind, a partner, a parent, a close friend, it's normal to feel the instinct to isolate and lick our wounds somewhat privately. This is totally appropriate up to a point. But sometimes this can evolve into an urge to stay isolated or avoid important relationships until you've somehow made yourself invulnerable to experiencing harm again, which is a problem as that's not a realistic goal. It's also ultimately counterproductive. Not only is it not realistic to fix ourselves completely before getting back out there, but it's actually isn't possible to heal relational wounds in isolation. When you get a major physical injury, the treatment usually includes a period of total rest, but crucially, a period of moderate use of your body and maybe even specific physical therapy exercises that might be really challenging or feel uncomfortable for the body to actually heal rather than just experience less pain and not move your body at all. Similarly, we need to actually use our injured relational muscles in connection with other people for them to get better. The corrective for relationships with other people that turned out to be harmful isn't isolation, but healthy relationships that can help overwrite some of the experiences we've had. As attachment and trauma expert Dr. Diane Poole Heller writes, we are not capable of healing in isolation. We need other people. We are hurt in relationship and we heal in relationship. Our brain and nervous system are not isolated, but interconnected and social. At our core, we are social beings who regulate through connection with others. Being comfortable in your own skin and having tools that help you relax is a really big deal, but learning how to feel safe with others is revolutionary. Dating while working on yourself. If you aren't supposed to wall yourself away from human connection while working on your baggage, how are you supposed to date or relate to people in a healthy way, even knowing that you're a work in progress? It sounds daunting, and in some ways it is, I agree. But on the other hand, it's also the same task everyone you're dating is engaged in. I'm going to share some things I want you to keep in mind. There are advantages to being transparently a little messy in relationships. It may mean you end up in a more authentic relationship as a result. You can name and explain anything coming up for you to your date or partner without obligating them to fix it or manage it for you. For instance, being upfront about the fact that you're working on attachment stuff and what actions you're taking without making any big asks of them. It's always a good idea to lean on a broad network of support if possible. Reach out to your friends or even family to talk with them about what you're going through and how it may be impacting your relationship. And of course, always, like I say, right, I'm a clinical psychologist, so I'm biased. Always consider seeking out additional support through a qualified therapist or counselor and make sure they have credentials. There's a lot of people out there presenting as a therapist, a coach, and they're actually not credentialed. So you want to make sure that they have a degree and they have, right, the education to support what it is that they're actually offering you. And yeah, I want to just echo how important it is to really not wait for a relationship. Get in it. It's going to get messy. And if it doesn't get messy, what I always say is someone's dead in that relationship or you're both dead. Don't be afraid to lean into the messiness and know that like we're all imperfect. We're all like, we're trying to figure it out and no one's got it down. So be compassionate and loving to yourself and get in there and into the trenches and start working because there's only one way it's going to go, which is up. Like, it's gonna increase your vibration, it's gonna increase your ability to be vulnerable, to connect with people, to heal, to love yourself, to love others more, bigger. So I just wanna encourage you to do it. I'm doing it. Like, right now, I've got teenage kids, I've got 19-year-old twins. My relationship with my son is great. My relationship with my daughter is, at this point, really challenged, and I'm trying to figure it out. It's bringing up stuff from my childhood, my relationship with my mom, and again, I've had decades of therapy. I've been a therapist for over 2 decades, so this is so normal. So please, 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 um, get in there and start working. All right. Kisses, hugs, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you all next time.